CNN political commentators Angela Rye and Paul Begala. She's the former executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus. He's an advisor for a pro-Hillary Clinton super PAC. Also with us, CNN chief political analyst Gloria Borger, USA Today columnist and CNN political analyst Kirsten Powers, CNN political commentator and Trump supporter Jeffrey Lord, and Matt Schlapp, a Trump supporter and former political director for President George W. Bush. Gloria, I mean, Trump is saying this isn't a dry run for Sunday night. It does seem to be, at the very least, a coincidence that he's doing town hall, 2 days before the debate. Do you think it's going to help?
Well, it is going to hurt him. I mean, there's a clock there. He's supposed to keep his answers to 2 minutes. He hasn't exactly been doing that. He did go out of his way to say it's not debate prep and to point out that Hillary Clinton is resting. She's not preparing, he said. She's actually just resting. And I'm sure that's something we're going to be hearing over and over again. And what he did this evening, he tried to connect, I think, with some of the people. They had them stand in the audience, even though the moderator did ask the questions. He tried to kind of connect with the audience more than we've seen one-on-one. But when they asked him questions, and they're friendly questions, he seemed to kind of restate the problem rather than answering the question directly. And this is a problem he has because he kind of wanders. It's stream of consciousness, and they're not fully formed answers in 2-minute bites to questions. And I think that could really be an issue for him.
Paul, I'm wondering, have you been watching this? And do you think he's taking this next debate, the prep, in a different way?
Yeah, taking it more seriously. It's a smart thing to do these kinds of warm-ups. But perfect practice makes perfect, not just practice. In other words, okay, tomorrow night, the San Francisco Giants are going to play the Chicago Cubs in the baseball playoffs. The Cubs have a relief pitcher named Aroldis Chapman. He throws the ball 105 miles an hour. It's the fastest anybody's ever thrown a baseball. If you're going to prepare to go against him, you better get the ball coming in fast. Instead, they're preparing with T-ball.
Yeah, totally.
The most important thing at the town hall, Donald, I hate to give you free advice, I'll charge you for this later, it's you got to connect with the audience. You got to walk over there and say, Gloria, tell me more about that. Did you lose your job or a friend of yours lose? The engagement, the human interaction with other carbon-based life forms. That's what Trump needs to practice.
But they had the moderator asking the question, which is a bit of a problem.
So Jeffrey, do you see this as helpful, or do you see this as not helpful enough?
No, I do see it helpful on a couple levels. One, his comfort level in doing this, because you never know who the moderator of the next debate is or what they'll say.
Right.
But I think also, in a sense, it's designed to perhaps draw a contrast, because he says various things about other debates he's been in. If he's going to wind up saying things about the next debate, he can say, well, when I was in New Hampshire, it worked such and such a way. So I think in that fashion, it helps him.
And it looks like he's wrapping it up already. Matt, do you expect it's going to be difficult for Donald Trump? I mean, Donald Trump said he didn't take the bait from Hillary Clinton in the last debate. A lot of people who watched the debate thought he absolutely took the bait for a number.
I have no comment.
Okay, I'm not asking. But do you think it's going to be difficult for him this time around? Do you think she's going to try the exact same strategy? You think she is?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? Keep talking about Donald Trump versus an American. That is what she turns to. And I really think it's smart for her to do, because if we're talking about the economy and Islamic terrorism and how broken Washington is and how the American people want to have change, this is the problem that she's in, which is not of her own doing. The country believes that the country's on the wrong track, and that's where voters are. This has been 10 years of large majorities saying the country's on the wrong track. In the minds of most voters, she represents Washington, D.C. Trump, for all the good and all the bad, represents change to people. It's actually an easier case for him to make. He doesn't have to have the perfect 2-minute answers and everything else, because they just want him to disrupt and change things.
So, Kirsten, does Hillary Clinton continue to try to prosecute a case against Donald Trump, as well as offering some sort of revision?
I'm going to just disagree a little bit. It's true of the right track, wrong track numbers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people are unhappy with what President Obama's doing.
I agree.
He's at the highest approval ratings, 55%. She is actually saying she's going to continue what President Obama's doing, and he's very popular. So she actually has a very good substantive to make. And the problem is, the little bit of what I watched tonight is he's doing the same thing he always does, is he kind of meanders and he doesn't really get into any substance and doesn't really answer the question. And I think when somebody's asking a question, it's one thing, frankly, to sort of be dismissive to a moderator. It's another thing to be dismissive to a voter who may be standing there telling you a very personal story.
One other thing, every time we have a presidential election, the American people are, among other things, deciding on somebody's style and one person's style is always different than another. So what's really going on here is people are saying, is this the style that I want to see for the next 4 years?
Angela, what are you expecting from Clinton tonight, on Sunday?
So a couple things. One is I do think she'll very much go down the same path. I am hoping that she will be able to connect with the audience the same way that she did at the first debate. I thought she was phenomenal at it and better than she is most times. The one thing I do want to just add to, Kristen, you mentioned that she wants to continue what President Obama's done. She actually continues to say that she wants to build upon what he's done, and I think that's an important distinction. The other thing is, if Donald Trump really represents change, why is his message so hopeless? I think that's going to be a real struggle for him as well on Sunday, because folks want to hear something is going to get better. He's having a hard time
Let me try to
demonstrating
answer that. First, on the Obama numbers, this is the big problem for Hillary Clinton, which is Obama has been over 50 for a long period of time, and it doesn't get transferred to her. Whether that's fair or not fair, it just doesn't. And the thing is this, when you have this high a percentage of the American people saying the country's on the wrong track, they want you to connect.
Thank you, Congress.
You want, it's all of it. It's all of it.
Yeah.
It's all of it. I'm not blaming Obama for it. It's a lot of things. But they want you to connect to the fact that they have these fears and they have these concerns. His tone in many ways matches. They want them to understand how serious it is. And I think that's why he's connecting.
Well, Matt makes a good point, though, which is, I mean, it is rare for, you know, if you look at past elections, for a Democrat, after having 2 terms of president, to get elected.
It hadn't happened in our lifetime. It was, of course, Roosevelt to Truman. It was the last time a Democrat won 3 in a row. And that's a terrific headwind that she faces. I think Angela's got a good point, and Kirsten does, about the president's popularity. I've been vexed about this all year. As you know, Anderson, I've talked to you about it. When the president's approval is high, usually the country's moving in the right direction. Those 2 lines usually track, and they have diverged so radically now. And I don't have a real answer, but I have some theories. One theory is, and you hear this a lot when you go to focus groups, talk to people, a lot of progressives think we're on the wrong track because of the rise of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So in other words, there could be a good 10 or 20 points of the 65 who think we're on the wrong track, which is terrible for the Democrats. I think there's a big chunk of them who are actually progressives who say, yeah, it's because of Trump we're on the wrong track. I'm scared of this guy.
More divided, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because I think you have a lot of liberals in that number. But on the town hall thing tonight, one thing that interested me was at one point Donald Trump was asked a question by a woman who had graduated college magna cum laude and said, I can't find it, you know, I can't find a job. And she didn't speak to him directly. Her question was read, although she stood. And his answer to that wasn't, this is what I'm going to do to help you get a job. It was, I want to see the day when we can have those jobs back. It wasn't, here is how I'm going to personally help you, or tell me more about what you're interested in, or what would you, you know, it was just sort of the standard stump speech reduced to a chunky 2-minute explanation.
That was something Bill Clinton used to do very well, which was always like, it wasn't necessarily, I forgot what question he and Bush were asked, but it was about how the national debt affects you, and I think he didn't even answer it. He just said to the person, well, tell me about yourself, how you feel it affects you.
I think, in fairness to Paul and to President Clinton made such a mark with that it's unfair in a sense to think that every successive candidate is going to have that ability. I mean, Donald Trump is not Bill Clinton. And so he's going to.
Neither is Hillary Clinton.
And neither is Hillary Clinton, for that matter. That's right. And so he's going to answer these in a fashion that suits him and his style.
Right. I want to thank everybody. A quick programming note: our special coverage of the second presidential debate from St. Louis kicks off on Sunday at 4 Eastern Time.